I'm going to go ahead and say it, and yes, I am biased because I'm going, but TakeOver Toronto 2 may be the best NXT TakeOver we've had yet. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's Pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your, what the hell day is it today? July 24th, 2019 NXT and other stuff review. And yes, we're going to do the house cleaning first because that's just how we do things. If you are looking for something on this channel a little different from the typical wrestling fare that we do, myself and Kristen may have something for you later on this week. As you know, I have done other things on this channel before. We branched out to do AEW. Myself and Bird did the Walking Stuff and Dead Things a couple years ago, trying to review Walking Dead. But Kristen and I do movie reviews every now and then. We didn't get around to doing an Endgame review. We didn't get around to doing a Far From Home review either. But we got a really big present this past weekend in the form of San Diego Comic-Con and all the announcements for MCU Phase 4. So Kristen and I are going to get together, hopefully at some point at the end of this week, you know, schedules being what they are. I have to say hopefully, because you guys know I plan things and then real life gets in the way, as it does. But hopefully we are going to be getting together tomorrow night to record our thoughts on all the MCU announcements. I got some thoughts on Thor 4. I'm just saying. Hope to record that tomorrow, get that out to you guys in a premiere sometime Friday evening. What I am also going to continue is what I started last week, which is my Road to SummerSlam weekend. That's Destiny Icons, NXT TakeOver Toronto 2, and SummerSlam, which was a lot of fun, and I like it. And yes, I'm biased. I'm doing this because I'm going. That is literally it. It's me getting excited / bragging, depending on how you want to look at it. There's also going to be a Q&A, either just before or just after SummerSlam weekend. You guys know the drill. Go back to the previous one. Put your questions down in the box below, and that's how we do things. That's it. The other playlists up there, you guys know the drill by now. Gonna say, full disclosure, sick, again, that's how it goes. Also, my camera doesn't seem to want to keep a battery charge. So, what we're doing is we've got it a little bit propped, a little bit off center because I've got the actual plug in the back. That may or may not result in there being several cuts in this video. If you're watching it on the premiere right now, prepare for cuts. I don't know if there's going to be cuts, but if there are a lot of cuts, I've already set the table for you. NXT UK is doing some stuff. They're still at the Download Festival. I didn't know how long these tapings went, but they apparently went for a long time, which means we still have Vic Joseph and Aiden English on commentary, which is good. I like them as a commentary team. They're just good. Keep Nigel McGuinness on NXT proper, and yes, as I've been told before, and as I will say again, I know that Nigel McGuinness being the only one from the UK on commentary does add something to it, but Nigel is just better on NXT proper. I don't know what the deal is, and Aiden English is good over there. Noam Dar defeated Kenny Williams with a low blow, because that's what he does. Noam Dar is another example of a Drew Gulak, and this is just me gonna indict 205 Live once and for all, put the nail in the coffin. 205 Live does nothing for nobody. If the people on the main roster that have come up to the main roster from 205 Live are doing better than the others are, I really don't know what to tell you. Cedric Alexander is going face-to-face with Drew McIntyre, probably going into a program, don't really know. Took that reverse Alabama Slam thing on the apron on Monday. That was kind of nasty. Hints are that Buddy Murphy is going to join up with Shane McMahon and his crew, which isn't great, but it means he's going to be featured. It means he's probably going to get onto a pay-per-view or two and not on the pre-show. I've spoke before about how Drew Gulak looks on NXT when he comes in. He had those great matches with guys like Kushida, guys like Matt Riddle, etc. Noam Dar shows up in NXT UK, exactly the same thing. He's killing it. The crowd over there loves him. Yes, it's a hometown crowd, but literally any brand, including Raw and SmackDown, is better to be on than 205 Live. So that's that's a thing, but this thing between Kenny Williams and Noam Dar obviously isn't over. It ended in a low blow, so this feud will continue, he said in high quotation marks. The Grizzled Young Vets in a promo that wasn't really a promo because Radzi tried to interview them while they were working out and basically got told that he was an idiot. He said, you know, you and Sid Scala and Johnny Saint, you guys, none of you guys do your job because clearly we don't have any competition. We are the champions. We are your champions. We're going to make these the most prestigious tag team titles in the WWE. Which, let's be real, doesn't take very much these days. We replayed Kaylee Ray winning the #1 Contender Battle Royal from a couple weeks ago. Then we went into a 6-woman tag with Ginny, Jazzy Gabbert, and Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray being the only one on that team that I care about. Versus, look at this other team. Look at the rock stars on this team. Xia Brookside, Piper Niven, and Toni Storm. Now, I like all three of these women. But there's a caveat to that. I said on Twitter, and I immediately got some disagreements because that's what Twitter does. Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley on NXT UK are the Rock Austin of this brand's women's division. What I mean by that is the other women on this roster are great. I like Xia Brookside. I like Millie McKenzie, actually. I like Isla Dawn. I like Piper Niven. I think Piper Niven's a badass. But Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley are stars, and if they're in the match, they are the star, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they've been produced so well that everybody else... I mean, people made the comparisons on Monday with Seth Rollins hanging out with DX, because DX are actually stars, they were actually over, and Seth Rollins is trying, which I don't agree with, but it's a comparison I'm making here. The people that I like in NXT UK, I don't want to see them take on Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm, because Toni Storm are clearly the two stars of that division. I got a lot of flack on Twitter for saying that they were the Rock Austin of their division, of their brand. I was very specific. People on Twitter are special. Moving on. Trent Seven versus Walter was just Trent Seven dying a horrible death, and all they did was reiterate Tyler Bates injured, and Pete Dunne is off doing other things. For weeks now, with the whole Trent Seven story, they've been saying Tyler Bates injured, and Pete Dunne is off doing other things, and it's just like, say something, make up something, etc., etc. Like when commentators, you know, on Raw and SmackDown, if they're not there on a night, you know, they have the cliche line of, you know, they're out on assignment. That's bullshit, whatever it is, but they have a thing to say. Even if it's bullshit, even if, you know, we that are in the know, or like to think we're in the know that it's bullshit, they've given you, at least kayfabe-wise, they've given you a story. That being said, the unfortunate news this week of Byron Saxton, I believe, losing his father, I thought was treated very well on Raw. They gave him a brief moment of respect and shout-out, and yeah, that really sucks. It wasn't on Raw. It was on SmackDown, wasn't it? I'm an idiot. Moving on. But yeah, this whole drilling home of, you know, Pete Dunne's just, he's doing his own thing right now, and it's just like, well, we're going to get to that, are we not? But Trent Seven Walter was a slaughter. The Imperium guys, this was a really cool psychological thing, because they were all there at the ring, but they didn't even go in the ring. They didn't even interfere. They didn't even look in the ring. They came to the ring and then turned their back on the ring because they had that much faith in their teammate, which was, as I say, psychologically was a really great thing. After 5 gigantic power bombs. Now, it's doubly impressive because Walter's a huge fucking dude, but Trent Seven is not a small dude in his own right. I've had the good fortune to actually meet Trent Seven and Tyler Bate at one of the Destiny shows, and Trent Seven's a big dude. 5 power bombs. And basically the ref decided, okay, he's dead. This match is over. That was the end of the show. But yeah, it's really put a punctuation on this story of Imperium have basically destroyed British Strong Style, which, as we're going to talk about later on tonight, British Strong Style as a whole unit, I don't think is a thing, at least for now. But it was a really well done, this is really uncomfortable sort of thing. You would think somebody else would come out. You would think even... It's funny to say, but like you would think even Gallus might come out, not because they have any love for British Strong Style, but because here's Imperium trying to be the baddest heels on the block. Is that not what Gallus is trying to do? Now, apparently we're going to hear next week that we're going to hear from I can't think. I swear. Joe Coffey has put out a challenge to Dave Mastiff, and I haven't read the spoilers, but I'm pretty sure that we're getting Joe Coffey versus Dave Mastiff either very soon or at TakeOver Cardiff. And yes, I'm going to say this once again. Every time there's a preview for TakeOver Cardiff, I laugh a little bit because of all the AEW fans. They're like, oh, they're trying to take all of our spotlight. Different time of day, different part of the world. They are taking literally nothing from AEW, and you guys are trying way, way too hard. Equally entertaining to that, and I know it's odd, commercials are an odd thing to talk about, but we saw previews for Smackville that's coming out this Saturday on the WWE Network. Now, one of the first things we said when they did the WWE Network was, wouldn't it be cool if they were televising house shows? So, like, not that you would have to care or pay attention, but if you were bored one day and you didn't want to go through their catalog of old shit, you could just say, oh, you know, they're in Hamilton tonight. They're doing a house show. Like, if they're doing a proper show in Toronto. For those of you that are not in Canada, Hamilton is sort of, kind of, but not really near Toronto. If they do a Raw or a SmackDown in Toronto, chances are they're doing a house show in Hamilton, that kind of thing. I wonder where they are tonight. There's a house show going on in Hamilton. I wonder what they're doing at that house show in Hamilton. You flick it on, and you know it's pointless. It's a smaller version of a Saudi Arabia show without the political shadow. Just have some wrestling. Any other time that we've talked about these Saudi Arabia shows, other than the political aspect, people complain, oh, the show doesn't matter, the show, like, why are they doing this show? It doesn't matter, it's not going to affect anything going forward. My response is always, then you don't have to watch. You don't have to watch. And if you do watch like I watch, and treat it like a giant house show. Just here's some wrestling, which is why I always find it fun to go to the house shows. The very last one I went to was shit. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of boring matches, no real big names at all, and I think the main event had Baron Corbin and the Big Show in it. So that's not a great example, but a house show in general, it almost turns it into a positive. Like, you don't have to, nothing has to make sense. Just, as I say, and I'm getting repetitive now, just here's some wrestling. So when they start putting these things on the WWE Network, which is something we mentioned ages ago, that's just, here's some wrestling, why would you blow your nut over that? You can watch it and enjoy it for what it is, or you can decide you don't give a shit, and that's also fine, and it literally has no effect on you whatsoever. I don't understand people sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sitting here on a Wednesday night, I don't know what my plans are for the weekend, but if I'm home on Saturday, I might throw it on for the hell of it. I mean, it's called Smackville because it's in Nashville. I'm sure they'll do some corny Nashville-related things, and you know what? Probably laugh. Say it's dumb. If something really funny happens, I might actually come up here and talk about it. You never know. But you know what we do know? We do know that it's Wednesday. We do know that it's NXT. NXT, July 24th, 2019. Started off with a replay of Gargano jumping Cole last week, as, you know, Cole was challenging that guy from Gargano's gym and all that sort of thing. They sort of interspersed the footage of that with the announcement that William Regal made online after the match. And this is where I kind of fell down to you guys. Because I try to get up here and record relatively soon after NXT goes off the air, I do miss the stuff that goes up on WWE.com. Where, I think there was one time when Sanity made, like, a guest appearance, like, after SmackDown went off the air, but they put it on the WWE Network, and I missed that, and it wasn't part of my review. But William Regal saying that, you know, hey, I really thought I had a way to get these guys, you know, this issue done with, but we're going to have, at TakeOver Toronto, which I'm going to be at, which is going to be really, really good, it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, but basically they're throwing in the words are failing me, the 3 stages of hell type stipulation, where Gargano gets to pick one stipulation, Cole gets to pick one stipulation, and if there's a third fall, which there will be because it's a 2 out of 3 falls match, William Regal's going to pick the last stipulation, which is good. It's all good. And then the first thing we saw in the ring was the second round of the breakout tournament, which was Jordan Myles versus Angel Garza. This was really good. I like Jordan Myles. He's animated as fuck. He's kind of goofy. It's right up my street. Fake out handshake by Garza, you know, goes for the handshake and then just the thing down the hair, and Angel Garza's a dick, is what we're saying. Collar and elbow tie-up. Myles works the arm. Both men trade some arm ringers and some wrist locks for a while. Arm drag, arm bar combination by Myles. A cartwheel dropkick. A wrecking ball dropkick by Myles, who eats steps on the outside. While he's resting up on the outside, Garza tears his pants off in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the match, for reasons. And then apparently they made something on commentary about how Beth was looking a little too hard at it or something. I don't know. You know, I don't want to go full SJW on here because you guys know how I feel about that shit. But let's not all of a sudden, because Renee Young is there or because Beth Phoenix is there, because anybody is there. I mean, even if it was Stephanie McMahon's a character, so it's a bit different. Let's immediately say, well, we got a female commentator now. I bet she's staring at his dick. No. We could do without that. Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness are great, but I really want to believe that that kind of shit is fed to them by somebody else. But that somebody else is Michael Cole. Michael Cole fed them a line to imply that Beth Phoenix, married to Edge, Hall of Famer, married to the Hall of Famer Edge, is looking at this dude, Angel Garza's dick. That's what's happening. It's NXT. We like NXT. We're going to let it slide because it's NXT, kind of like AEW fans. But, I mean, AEW fans are cheering for the Dick Druids. That's another story for another day. But, not gonna lie, I laughed, but I could do without that. Running punt by Garza, some mounted punches, butterfly backbreaker by Garza, and a camel clutch. They kept on trying to mispronounce the word camel clutch. I think they said it was a cameloa, or something along those lines. You guys know me, names, I'm terrible. It's fine. They mentioned, like, every luchador ever that has ever used a camel clutch, which was great, I guess. Super kick by Garza and a punch to the chest. Rapid fire Daniel Bryan silly kicks by Miles in the corner. Gets him some momentum because he's been having his ass handed to him for the last couple of minutes. Series of back elbows by Miles, a trip and a drop kick. The discus corner clothesline by Miles and a springboard, but the springboard is caught with a midair drop kick by Garza. Clothesline, deadlift, bridging German suplex gets the win for Miles. And I love this because you don't. It's the old thing, like a DDT isn't a finisher anymore. A deadlift German suplex with a bridge was the finish. And it's so anti what we're used to that I popped for it. Anyways, Miles wins. He's going on. He's facing either Bronson Reed or Cameron Grimes in the final, which I think is actually taking place at TakeOver. I could be wrong. It could be like on the episode of NXT that's being filmed in Toronto before TakeOver, and I'd be okay with that too, because I still get to see it. But I really hope it's Bronson Reed. I really liked watching his match last week against the other creepy dude whose name I can't remember. Anyways, as Miles is celebrating in the ring, coming up the ramp, etc., Shane Thorne comes to yell at the commentators about how stupid the tournament is. I don't know how that is from a what are we supposed to think of these new guys' perspective, to have a guy that's in the back saying, why are we having a tournament for all these guys when I haven't had any time, I haven't had any shine, you know, I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm faster, I'm better looking than all these guys, and I'm going to prove it, rah-de-rah-de-rah. I really think they missed the switch when Nick Miller had to leave. He went home, he did the family thing, whatever, good for him. But their tag team was called The Mighty. I think they really missed the switch by not just calling Shane Thorne The Mighty Shane Thorne. That could have been really cool. Vince, you could have sold some t-shirts on, or Triple H, I guess. You could have sold some t-shirts on that. I'm assuming whoever wins this tournament is going to get their ass handed to them by Shane Thorne. That's just a thing there. Gargano is in a promo in the back, says that the stipulation he's chosen for his one stipulation is going to be a street fight, which is fine. He says he's starting to like street fights. I mean, he was in enough of them with the whole Ciampa feud and whatever. It's good. The only thing about this that I both like and hate, sorry, mouth is getting really dry because that's what happens when you talk too much, like me. Thing about this that I love and hate is because you think Gargano choosing the first stipulation is an indicator that his stipulation is going to be the first fall. So, because we're so used to, you know, not only 2 out of 3 falls matches, but also these 3 stages of hell things, they escalate. You know, it's a street fight, it's a street fight, it's a submission match, and then we're gonna finish it off in the cage, brother. So you think the next announcement's gonna be an escalation, and we're gonna get to it when we get to it, but it's either awful or awesome, depending on your point of view, and I'd really like to get to know what you guys think in the comment section. Bianca Belair is on my TV for reasons, and she's picking on Xia Li because she's sad she doesn't get another title shot. On commentary, they're justifying her actions by saying she feels left out of the title picture because Mia Yim is getting a title shot. Folks, look me in the face. I've gone on for months and months and months now trying to deviate the two parts of my opinion of Bianca Belair. Her gimmick is shit. The hair gimmick is shit. I don't have any reason to give a shit about her at all, but she is an amazing wrestler in the ring. Tell me how many title shots she's had. Tell me how much one-on-one time she's had with fuck, can't think of her name now, Shayna Baszler. There we go. Tell me why she's in any way left out when Mia Yim, who is a badass, who has a continuing story that we're going to talk about in a second, who hasn't had a title shot, who hasn't had any pay-per-view exposure that I can think of. Anyways, I know she's a heel. It's not supposed to make sense. Rah. She just kicks the living shit out of Xia Li, which is unfortunate because we've never given Xia Li a foothold to stand on, and I think if we did, it could really, really be good. Some of this was really bad, too. The corner tackle looked sort of ugly. The Irish whip was kind of ugly. Her own version of the implant buster is weird. I could say that it's ironic that Bianca Belair is doing an implant buster, but that would be rude. She did a weird backwards splash thing. She did that thing. Yes, we know she's a weightlifter. We know she's got a great physique, whatever. But you do the whole suplex and you do the flex while you got her up in the suplex. None of it. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying this as a guy, sitting here checking out whether I think somebody's hot or not. Nothing she does in the ring does it for me. Absolutely nothing. I'd rather see Bayley's hot sister than Bianca Belair. Moving on, we get another Killian Dane promo. And again, it's sort of promo interspersed with footage like we did at the beginning of the night. And it's Killian Dane cutting a promo on why he beat up Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle, he said he wasn't going to jump anybody from behind. But Matt Riddle isn't just somebody. Matt Riddle, went and dominated MMA. He's probably the toughest guy in that field, but this is here and this is now, and when I put him through the ground, I reminded him that where he is, and there's no weight limits here. It's always kind of funny when you get people that have come over from like boxing or jiu-jitsu or MMA, anything official like that. Whenever whoever's trying to bully them, one of the first things they always go to is, "There's no weight limits here, brother," which really is Killian Dane just he's saying what he would say is like basically saying he's fat, but he's not fat because the guy went and got himself all jacked. He's on the Bray Wyatt plan because dude looks scary as fuck and I don't know how his promos are going to be live, if he's going to cut promos live, but these promos that he's doing, these pre-tapes, are pretty fucking good. I would love to see him in the main event picture if the main event picture wasn't already stacked. Speaking of Mia Yim, who I was talking about a second ago, we are reminded that she took out Marina Shafir in the parking lot of a house show, which is smart. Then we see footage of her from the PC. Jessamine Duke had just finished her workout or some reps or whatever. Basically, she's finishing out her day at the PC, and she's sitting on the apron, and she's giving herself a towel off and all that sort of thing. Gets her ass handed to her, and thrown into some lockers and whatever. But she does this really nasty thing where she opens up a door halfway and lays her down. And I don't know why I'm actually laying down like I'm going to actually show you guys what she did. But basically there was a door halfway open and she sort of kicked the door across her shoulder and face. And it was just really brutal, and because it wasn't filmed. This is the other thing. There's so many cool things about this thing, and it only went about 10 seconds. It wasn't filmed. It was shot from like the security camera perspective, so you've really got that voyeuristic, hey, this isn't part of the show, this is behind the scenes, this is real feel, and it's all good. Why does NXT do this shit so good and everything on the main roster? But speaking of Killian Dane not having any room to move up into the title pictures, etc., and title pictures that are getting fucking amazing, Velveteen Dream comes out and talks about what the North American title means to him. When he loses the title, the dream will be over, rah. References Roderick Strong, says, I bet Roderick Strong can go all night. I can go all night too. The light will go out. The dream will be over if you decide to face me. He's not big enough to ride this ride. And I'm going to let you think about the type of character Velveteen Dream is. He's not big enough to ride this ride. I really think in that line he wanted to emulate the CM Punk promo that he cut on The Rock when the whole your hands are just too short to box with God. I think he was trying to land that line with the same sort of impact. And this is not a direct dig. This is not me making fun of Velveteen Dream or trying to compare Velveteen Dream to CM Punk. Apples and oranges, for sure. But I'm sure he wanted to have that kind of landing with that. It just sounded a bit off when you think of the sometimes androgynous nature of the Velveteen Dream character. You're not big enough to ride this ride sounds really, really bad, doesn't it? Roderick Strong comes out and says, "You've been ducking me, you've been scared." Made me think of Mr. T in Rocky 3. "Tell these fools why you've been ducking me." I'm never going to do that again. How about that? I'm the most contender. I'm the most deserving contender. I'm the real deal. I'll take your title just like that. You, me, take over Toronto. The dream dies, and that's undisputed. And it's all good. In my mind, I've been told the spoiler on this too, which is great. But in my mind, at that moment, okay, we've set it in stone. This is going to be the night that Undisputed Era go home with all the belts. It's already been established that Street Profits are taking on Fish and O'Reilly. That was kind of quietly announced online, which was weird. Street Profits are doing very strange things on Raw, like smoking up in the bathroom with Ric Flair and Rob Van Dam. Let's just not talk about Raw Reunion. But we know what Cole and Gargano are doing. We know what Fish, O'Reilly, and the Street Profits are doing. So sure, throw Roderick Strong into this title picture. They can go home with all the gold and it's all good. Until what I completely forgot happened. The music hits. That familiar music. That music that I have heard at Destiny shows, because I'm just that lucky. That music that we heard in NXT UK for an unprecedented WWE UK title reign. The reason that Pete Dunne is just off doing other things is because William Regal has signed him back to NXT proper. This is the wild card rule done absolutely properly. Pete Dunne doesn't say a fucking word. The crowd pop is amazing. He walks in and he immediately snaps the fingers of Roderick Strong, and then it's like, okay, yeah, he wants a title, but he's staring down Roderick Strong first. Okay, he'll go over Roderick Strong, and then he'll go after the title. But no, it's even better. Commentary doing a great fucking... Nigel McGuinness, Mauro Ranallo, even Beth Phoenix saying, yeah, that's the guy that used to be Pete Dunne's tag team partner. That's the guy Roderick Strong... Sorry, Pete Dunne is the guy Roderick Strong fucked over to join the Undisputed Era. All comes full circle. No, you're going to go get some solo gold after you cost me the opportunity at tag team gold. Buddy, go fuck yourself. Stares down Velveteen Dream. Still doesn't say a word. The crowd is going fucking crazy. And we drop black. We go to break, or what NXT considers a commercial break. And as we come back, we see William Regal with a shit-eating grin on his face breaking the news to Roderick Strong that the North American Championship match at TakeOver Toronto 2 is going to be Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne versus Velveteen Dream. And I'm gonna fucking be there. Yes, I sound like a tard right now. I don't care. Roderick Strong demands a match with the returning Pete Dunne next week on NXT, and William Regal smiles and says he'll take it under advisement. Roderick Strong gets pissed off and leaves. This is fucking wonderful. I'm almost more excited about this than I am Cole Gargano. I'm almost more excited about this than I am about Baszler Mia Yim. I'm definitely more excited about this than I am about the tag team title match or any other extras we could get put on there. Because here's the deal. Here is the deal. Velveteen Dream is the North American champion right now. Shayna Baszler is the women's champion right now. And they're so similar that it's ridiculous. When the Velveteen Dream first debuted, I didn't really like it. When Patrick Clark was repackaged as the Velveteen Dream, I was like, what the fuck is this? More fool me, right? I was like, look at this. He's trying to do the Rockstar thing. He's trying to throw a little bit of gold dust in there. I didn't like it. I didn't like it until I loved it. Shayna Baszler came in, and she was just a fighter. She wasn't really a character. Didn't think much of her. Didn't think much... I mean, I liked watching her in the ring in the Mae Young Classic. Didn't think much of her. Started to like her. Started to see her become a great bully character. Started to love her character. Started to love her as champion. And didn't really want to see anybody take the belt off Shayna Baszler till Mia Yim came along. Now, I didn't want to see anybody take the belt off Velveteen Dream until here comes fucking Pete Dunne. I have seen Pete Dunne as the North American champion. As I say, unprecedented reign as UK champion. Messing up my titles now, it's fine. I have seen Pete Dunne in an unprecedented WWE UK title run. I have seen Pete Dunne as the Destiny champion, selfishly. I would love to see him as the North American champ. We saw him get fucked out of potentially being a tag team title holder by one of the guys in this match. It's fucking beautiful, and yes, I'm rambling, and yes, I'm ranting, because that's what happens when you get excited. This is going to be fucking good. You know who else I like? You know who else I really like? You know who else I think is just fun? Casey Catanzaro. On a side note, lucky Ricochet for the Casey Catanzaro thing. But anyways, what's not so lucky for Casey Catanzaro is that she's taking on the brand new and super fucking hot Io Shirai, who feeds her a corner drop kick, some double knees, and a butterfly backbreaker before she gets her ass handed to her by Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae gives her a beatdown in the ring. Casey Catanzaro just buggers off, hits her with a suicide dive, grabs the chair, chases off Io Shirai. If this is one of the secondary matches at TakeOver Toronto, it won't hurt my feelings at all. Io Shirai as a heel is great. Candice LeRae, I would just love to see in something. I want to see her, and yeah, once again, this is going to be into a little bit of like SJW territory. I don't want to see her as Gargano's wife. I don't want to see her in somebody else's corner while they're trying to have success. I don't want to see her in Io Shirai's corner, to be fair. I don't want to see her as the person on the outside because the other horsewomen are there and she's just keeping them at bay. I want to see her in a proper program. And if the... You know, we always talk about the breakdown of a takeover, you know, this title, this title, this title, this title, and there's usually one other match, that quote-unquote other match that for the longest time was whatever Cassius Ohno was doing at the time, which was really annoying. If the other, in quotes, match on TakeOver Toronto is Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, that won't hurt my feelings at all. And again, as I said earlier, if it's on the episode of NXT that's being filmed in Toronto to play the following week, I'll still be there. It'll still be part of my TakeOver experience regardless. Yes, that's sort of a slanted way to look at it, but it is what it is. Everything is good. Adam Cole is in the back. He's talking about how everybody likes to fuck with the Undisputed Era. William Regal is fucking with his buddy Roderick Strong. The Street Profits were silly enough to accept a challenge from his other two boys, and now he's here to pick his stipulation. And he could go with this or that or this or that stipulation. Talks about the street fight stipulation that Gargano mentioned earlier, and he just said, well, seeing as you're Johnny Wrestling, and I've already beaten you in one wrestling match, beaten you in 2 wrestling matches, my stipulation is a wrestling match, which is so subversive to what, as I mentioned earlier, what any of us would have expected. You know, if it's a street fight, you know, the next fall would be like a Last Man Standing or Hell in the Cell or so. I don't think they're going to do Hell in the Cell at a TakeOver, to be fair, but it's just it's so, it flips the script so much of, you know, as that natural escalation, but you know it's going to end up being that, you know, Cole's stipulation goes on first. You get the regular match, then you get the street fight, then you get William Regal's stipulation, because you know it's a 2 out of 3 falls thing, which has been killed on the main roster, but it's going to go to the 3rd fall, and I got to imagine that the 3rd fall is going to be a cage match. I haven't read anything, I haven't heard anything, but I just got to imagine that that's a thing that's going to happen. Adam Cole, another guy that's great at promos. Pete Dunne, who says a whole lot by saying nothing. Adam Cole, who says a whole lot when he says something. Everybody wins. You know what else is cool? Next week we're going to win. Tyler Breeze versus Jackson Ryker, and confirmed Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne. That's what we have to look forward to next week. I mean, Tyler Breeze versus Jackson Ryker is going to be a 3-on-1 situation that sucks for Tyler Breeze, unless somebody else comes along to help him out. And Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne is obviously going to be interrupted by Velveteen Dream. But, in theory, on paper, as they say, and matches aren't fought on paper, they're fought on canvas. That's the stupidest joke in all of wrestling fandom. But on paper, we got a good episode to look forward to next week. And the main event is you know, now that we got all the main event stuff out of the way, the actual main event is Keith Lee versus Damian Priest, which was a really, really fun match. Priest works the arm in a side headlock, shoulder tackle by Lee, and a series of kicks by Lee. Both men have this awesome striking exchange where Keith Lee, who's the bigger, thicker guy, gets this really high kick that just makes the whole crowd go, what the fuck? And I think, bar the fuck, basically that's what they were saying on commentary. as well. It was really, really good. Keith Lee is really good. I like the Damian Priest. I like the whole presentation, you know, the big archer of infamy, all the flame imagery and all that cool shit that he does. Plus, he's a great wrestler. But Keith Lee, I just love watching the guy work in the ring. And as I say, lucky Mia Yim, I guess. Shoulder tackle by Lee and gets him in a knuckle lock. Watching Keith Lee put anybody else in a knuckle lock, just this, you know, we always used to talk about the Big Show and the size of his hands and how terrifying he's had. Keith Lee's got some big fucking hands. Elbow shots by, Yes, sharp elbow shots by Priest and body shots in the corner. Priest curb stomps Lee. I can't explain this to you any other way than Lee sort of fell and stumbled forward, and Priest curb stomped him, but curb stomped him on the bottom turnbuckle, which just looked... It didn't look killer, but it looked a little bit more painful for how awkward it looked, if that makes sense. Lariat by Priest in a seated chinlock with a post. Slingshot crossbody by Priest. Lee does the wrist thing, and that's the only thing I can call it, is when he's down to one knee and somebody goes to hit him, and he just grabs him by the wrist. And whatever they do after that, whether they try to hit him with the other hand, whether they try to kick him, whether they try to pull away, whether they try to rebound away, he just holds them, and they just sort of flail. And it's this really cool power thing that he does that doesn't really take very much, and it's just, psychologically, it's great in a match. And then he finally gets himself up and knocks, holding on to the wrist, series of knockdowns, pulls him back up, series of knockdowns, pulls him back up once again. Forearm by Lee and a follow-through lariat where he hits him with a lariat so hard that he himself falls over, which is great. They trade some elbow shots, and after a couple times of trying to get Keith Lee up for a suplex, where he can't, Damian Priest just decides instead, I'm gonna hit a fucking Falcon Arrow on Keith Lee, which is great. Follows it up with more body shots by Priest. Pounce by Lee, you know, sort of throws him halfway across the ring. I will say, as far as pounces go, didn't send him as far across the ring as Ace Romero sent Marco Stunt in that Battle Royal at AEW. There's my one shout out to AEW for the night. But it was still pretty good, and Keith Lee doing the pounce is really good. High knee by Priest. Priest tries a flipping suicide dive, and Keith Lee catches him upside down, feet here, hanging on the outside. And every fiber of my being as a wrestling fan, because they were on the outside, he was near the apron, all he would have had to do would be lift him up a little bit, and he could have hit him with an absolutely spine-shattering apron powerbomb. But he doesn't. Priest gets out, Lee eats the steps on the outside, gets him back in the ring, they struggle a bit more, Priest hits the Reckoning, which is that really weird looking twisting cutter thing that he does, and Damian Priest gets the win. Everybody looked good in this match. I mean, there's only two of them. But Keith Lee went in there and was an absolute beast. Damian Priest eked out a victory that he still felt like he earned. Everybody wins here. There is so much good shit on this show. I know I say that a lot. I know I start off so many episodes of these reviews with, well, a lot happened tonight, but holy fuck. We've got the stipulations for the main event at TakeOver. We've got an awesome triple threat for the North American title. We already know what's going on with the women's title situation, plus a possible secondary women's match. We've got a great tag title to look forward to, and awesome undercard people who aren't even on the TakeOver card are still doing awesome shit. Now, once again, selfishly, if you're me, this is falling dead center of my SummerSlam weekend between Destiny and SummerSlam and TakeOver and Raw and SmackDown. This may possibly be the best weekend of my wrestling fan life. Yes, that's a lot of hyperbole. That is a lot of hyperbole, but I'm really, really excited. Everything is kicking off right now. And if you hang around in the next day or two when I do the next episode of Road to Icons TakeOver and SummerSlam, in one way or another, I'm going to see every member of British Strong Style over the course of the weekend. If you want to figure out what that means, check it out when I put it out in a couple of days. I'm losing my voice. I'm very excited. I've rambled on way longer than I intended to. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
Sunshine, if you're a freak like me.